Hey, yo, what's up? You know what it is? It's the one and the only Professor L live in the L.A.B. I do welcome you guys back to another installment of Triple the Guys Beat Song. Yo, come on back on in. I hope you guys enjoy recess. Lab coat's back on. Make sure you're nice and stirred. Do not touch nothing you can't break. Sit down, cause yo, we got us a doozy on the board. Uchu Sentai Kyuranger, Space.31, Naga's great recapture strategy. I don't know what to say. Well, I do, because some of it is planned. I took notes. I love this episode for one important reason. This was an episode that reminds me that it works, right? When Naga finally fought through everything and transformed, and the being squad got back together, I got to turn up a little bit. That's how you know that the show is getting over these characters, that the show is making the drama work, that all of this matters. That's what's important. Like, we could go through the episode, and we will, but I just want to start off by just being honest. This is a show that gets it right. I am invested in the being squad. I am invested in the Kyurangers. I am invested in this narrative. And it is because I was happy that the status quo is back. That Naga went through what he went through, came out of it the other end better than when he started. That the squad, we here now, we doing what we do, the Kyurangers doing what they do. And you just have to love moments like that. You have to. And it's like, I just, again, like I said, I just want to be honest. And I just want to take time out of this review to say, the show works. What this world that they built works. I am emotionally invested in these characters, because I wouldn't have started this review saying that when all that emotional stuff was going down, when Hammy hugged him, when Balance took all the males, everything, that shows that I care about these characters. Because if I didn't, and I wasn't invested, oh, well, you know, she hugging them, emotional things are happening, blah, 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 blah. No. I was in there. I was right there with her. And every now and then, an episode just knocks it directly out of the park. I remember the real last time an episode really knocked it out the park for me, and that was Space.31 Dreamy Android. Because that episode allowed us another side to Raptor Bay. You know what I'm saying? And it's like, yeah, I make my fun because I love that character. But Dreamy Android was an episode early on that really instilled in me that I want to be in there with these characters, in the thick, in the thin, for the good, the bad, the ugly, the otherwise. This was an episode that got the job done. You made me care, give a damn about these characters and the things they are going through. And when you do that, I can do nothing. I can do nothing but applaud you and appreciate that Kyuranger is just this damn good. Now that we've gotten all the emotional impact stuff out the way, how about we review the rest of this episode? Now, let's just remember, anything I just excused that you know the answer to the question, let's just pretend the last 4 minutes didn't happen. How about that? We can pretend the last 4 minutes didn't happen, and then we can walk you through step by step of this emotional breakthrough that this show has brought me to. Remember last episode, we learned that Kyuranger is like Chrono Trigger when you fail. The future refused to change. In this, we learn a whole bunch of things that have happened. We know Shinron Perp and Moo Moo Man, they still missing in action because they had to be around to pass down the legend of the Kyuranger, so we didn't see them this whole episode, so spoilers for that. We sitting up here, we trying to regroup. Hammy sitting up here saying Japanese Justin and Wolf hemmed up somewhere. You know what I'm saying? That Naga captured them. So we doing that. Lucky trying to get the squad to like, yo, chill, relax. You know, everybody, yo, I got the superpower. I got this. We can whoop anybody. Trying to get them together. Echidna returns, and they have to reintroduce the rest of the time squad to Echidna and explain that, and they get 2 seconds. Echidna like, I'm still gonna kill this fool because he got emotions. That's bad. Balance run in like, yo, I got this Q-timer. I got an idea. We learned that that's the shrink you down Q-timer, and we learned that how Akiyama sits up here and messes with people's emotion is that they dropping divers in there and they sit up here and mess with your head. So they plan is to shrink down, get inside Naga, defeat them, and save him. That's the master plan there. During all this, I'm explaining this. I skipped the Kyuranger song happened because I love that song. So we hop right back into the episode. Naga sitting up here giving Echidna the business, the B-I-D-ness, business. Take this L, Paris. Take this L, Paris, and took this L. Squad show up. They sit up here and enact their master plan of faking like they was dead, but they shrunk down and jumped in. But I just want to explain the rest of that. The rest of this is like it's build up and it's not really plot important because the main idea of this is we ultimately save Naga. So we go through a whole bunch of little fights inside of Naga's head, a whole bunch of what is the name of that movie? You know what? It's been a while since I've done a Google search in the middle of one of these. Oh, let me see. Shrink movie body. Okay, because I'm trying to think of the name of that movie. The Fantastic Voyage, because you want to know how I seen that and remember it? I remember in 7th grade, they made us watch that movie in gym class. I'd have just rather play dodgeball. Shout out to Kunio. Anyway, yeah, Kunio, the World Classic Collection to be out later this year. You should get that for a system that you want. I'm just saying. But yeah, they did a Fantastic Voyage thing, traveled inside his head or whatever, and that's how they tracked down Wolf and Japanese Justin and all that, just to excuse all of that plot. So we go through all of this emotional hubbub that I spent the first 4 minutes blubbering about. The hugs, the Naga please, balance takes more L's, all of that, for them to fight and for Naga to realize that emotions are a point, and like I said at the beginning, that Naga is better for going through this than he would have been if the show would have just played it and he would have just slowly picked up his emotions. So we've done all that. It's fight time. L's get delivered. Super Saiyan change. Get whooped on, son. You know what I'm saying? Akiyama escapes, so that's important. There's a Q-Tama gen, but I'm sitting up here how you got Q-Tamas for 2 people that's missing in action, plot stuff, but excuse that. The thing that's important to take away from the fight, though, it seems that Naga can now turn into Hibisukai metal at will without the laser beam eye on his chest or whatever, and he can use the dark hole and he combined it. And Lucky did that. Oh my God, somebody getting bogged. Beam and then the monster of the day held a nail because that's just what it is and was. You know what I'm saying? Just what it is. So that all happened. We sit up here, we get to the end, and it's like, I'm sorry, my bad, Holmes. You know what I'm saying? More emotions, Naga, balance, the end. That's the episode. Again, like I said, everything that I appreciated about this episode, we spent the first 4 minutes talking about it, and I gave you another 4 wrapping up this episode in a little bow just like that. I'm going to say this. I had a thought in my head about how maybe this might have been a little too clean. You know what I mean? Like, the answer to the problem is let's go inside Naga's head and let's take care of this business. You know what I'm saying? I don't want to say that. Because I don't think that if it was clean, there wouldn't have been any emotional impact to what it was that I watched and saw. Because, again, the show could have straight copped out and just did whatever it wanted to, whatever it felt like, to solve the problem because we need to get back to selling toys. No. The show did what it did. And I appreciate that the show did that. That it set up her, and it's like, because you could have simply just said, Lucky, go in there with your new Q timer, go blow everybody up, use your Q timer to reverse Naga, and that's an episode. No. It's like, we started with emotional impact. That the emotional impact of Naga giving in to his better judgment, to Naga coming out the other side with understanding about how emotions are and how they truly work. Because again, that's the point of the character. And when you do what you can to get the point of the character across, to make sure that they serve their arc in a way that the character comes better from when they came in to when they exited, whatever hole they came out of, this was wonderful. And the show did it very well. Again, like I said at the beginning, the emotional impact was there. I'm invested in the being squad. I'm like, they one of the reasons why I love watching the show, because I love their interaction. You know what I'm saying? When the being squad do stuff, yo, I love the ebb and flow that Balance and Naga bring to the Kyurangers. And I've said that when they had their own episode 2, that I'm feeling these guys. I'm like, I remember saying, and I quote, these the new swag busters. And it's like, when you sit up here and you think about beating Stagbuster and how they changed the ebb and flow of how Go Busters was, this is something different. Because it's more of the relationship between Beat the Stagbuster that is, that is another look at how the being squad rolls. You know what I'm saying? And it's like, I just love the interaction that you have that type of dynamic within this core group. And it's like, to give Naga and Balance this type of arc, this type of shine, this right here when the show needed something to distract from what the actual problem is, it gives you something and everybody wins. Everybody wins from this. You get character development, you get ultimate character growth. You solve a problem that you introduced 31 episodes ago, and it's not a problem that you've technically solved, but you solved because Naga still has plenty of episodes to learn more about his emotions, to have that change in him, to see how that's going to affect the ebb and flow of not only the being squad, but the Kyurangers as a whole. You have that dynamic in play now. You have that in play, ready to rock and roll, ready to go. You have that. I'm like, the show made an interesting point, and I just thought about this. At the beginning of the episode, when they sitting up here trying to regroup and trying to figure out what they trying to do or whatever, seeing that Don Armand and Darkman are still ruling the universe, and we still have no answers for that right now, is, what was the point of going back in time? Lucky like, yo, I got this power up. Well, it wasn't exactly like that, but for the sake of comedy, let's just say that it was, is the whole point of going back in time was to get the power up. It was never to destroy Don Omega. Is that the show didn't like veil it in a way where it's like, this is going to lead to a power up. Well, at least for me, because again, remember, I'm the one that doesn't read toy magazines. I don't watch recaps of what's going to be the next episode or anything like that. So I didn't have that in. So it's like, y'all going to travel back in time. And again, if y'all go back and listen to the reviews, it was like, y'all going to go back in time. Y'all going to figure out an answer. Bring an answer back to me, the viewer of this show, because I want to know what's really good. And what we got was no answers, but a power up instead. This power up, we don't know what it really does. We know Lucky all powerful and everything, and how much this is actually going to ultimately even the odds is a whole nother problem you have to introduce. Because see, as someone who watches anime, I know all about power creep and how power creep can work correctly, and how overpowering a character for the sake of the plot can do more damage than good. I honestly do not think this is an instance where giving Lucky the Orion joint is going to sit up here and change the dynamic of the show. I don't really think, even though they said in Puri and Naga, like, yo, I know where homeboy at, like, they finna go murk him the next episode. No way. Because, see, here's the other thing that I think I might have mentioned last episode a little bit, but we're gonna talk about it now before we get up out of here, right? If, and this is an if, okay, you know, run it back, okay, because, see, I want to run it back different. I want to run it back as more of a thesis and a hypothesis and a little hypothetical, right? Lucky got the Shishi Red Orion joint, right? You know, that's what it is. That's what the streets, that's what he got. I super say that change, press a button, you get superpowers, right? If you destroyed John Omage, and you hear the air quotes in my voice, right? Where does that leave this Don Omage in the present? Because we know now that all the squad that came, all the big homies that came back when Don Omage brought them back, they caught L's in the past. The thing is now we have no idea how they caught L's in the past, unless the way they caught L's in the past was always Lucky getting that superpower and murking him and then coming back. So the show has a lot of questions to answer when it comes to this power creep and how the show wishes to deal with it. This episode was a little bit of the power creep because we got Naga. He got a power now. I'm like, it's kind of, you know, I don't want to say odd, but for Naga to be the silver Kyuranger and be like, yo, I got a power up I can use. So it's like you have to really wonder how much is he gonna turn into Hibisi Kai Metal. You gotta wonder how much he gonna use the black hole, the Haku timer. You gotta really wonder how much the show is actually going to let him make use of that for the sake of plot, and not even for sake of plot, but more of intro. Again, we are still talking about the power creep that this show has now introduced. And let's be for real, I've been at this for 31 spaces, right? 31 spaces. I've talked about the times where 120 million Lucky shoot a laser beam at a dude and instantly destroy him. The show is like for real. We all, as we watch this show, have seen times where this show just does whatever it wants for the sake of whatever it feels like. And I have to sit up here as someone who analyzes and reviews this show to ask the question: is this that? Is this power creep to this new power? And you got Naga with some joints. I'm like, unless we finna end the series tomorrow, and it's like next Sunday, you know, it's over for Kyurangers. It's like, here's what, thinking about everything that I've ever said about this show, here's what we can eliminate. Don Omage is going to be your bad guy. I really thought that this was a show that would do tier villains, but I think that about a lot of shows, especially in the early episodes where you introduce powers and I thought Kyuranger was going to be that, and it was technically that. It was technically a tiered villain structure. X-Aid was that. A tiered villain structure. So I would write about that in the end, even though of how they played it near the end, but that's another conversation. This is going to be Don Omage at the end. There is something to this, and a reason why things are going down the way they going down. That's it. That's all. It's like, now that I think about it, roll with me on this before we get up out of here. I'm like, I always thought either my boy Sippin' on Cuervo or even Orion was actually Dark Matter, right? Like, actually the heart of Dark Matter, and that Don Omage is just a front for who is the true bad guy. It's one of those, is you make it all the way to the top of the building, you climb by beating up all the enemies. Watch Terry Young Goon, by the way. And then you get up there and then you think like, oh, I done beat the dude, but no, it's not the bad guy. It was me, Austin. Son of a bitch. That kind of moment. I really honestly think that's where Kyuranger is going. With the spin around in the chair, put my feet on the table. Oh, I'm the final boss, by the way. It's what I honestly, legitimately sit up here and think that it's something with Don Armage. That Don Armage isn't that. And I've always thought that since the beginning. And the more and more we introduce that this show wants to go stupid with the plot, Orion and Cuervo, they got something to do with this. I don't know if it's one of those instances where he took that massive L and then, his soul didn't go to heaven or something and it got absorbed by dark energy or whatever, and the souls of all the warriors that took L's from original Don Armage and them dark matter boys, they absorbed into them, and it's like, you gotta save them now. So all his homies alive and they're gonna travel 333 years back in the past when the show's over if they really want to do it that way. I really legitimately think that is where they're going with this, because it wasn't, now that I think about it, the future refused to change. It's that the future was always going to be what it was going to be. Lucky was always going to travel back in time and get that power, and Orion was going to die. I honestly think that Orion got something to do with Don Armage and the spread of dark matter across the universe after the fact. Because you don't kill a character that strong and you don't find a way to turn him evil just for some more gobbledygook and feels, because we can write this plot however we feel like. There's something to this. There has to be, and I just got a feeling that I'm on the nose somewhere. That Orion got something to do with it. That his death is the reason why you can't kill Don Armage, because technically you didn't. You killed the wrong person. Your kill order was bad. And and all this is hypothesis. All it is, because given the facts of what we have to work with, the show has a lot of directions it can go. It can go anywhere, do anything, but they still, again, you gotta explain this power creep. There has to be an answer to who is Don Armage and why, when we destroyed him in the past with this superpower, why you didn't stay dead. There has to be answers for this stuff, and there will be. But the question is, when will we get them? Hey, yo. It's another episode, man. Triple the Guy Speaks On. Uchu Sentai Kyuranger Space.31 Naga's great recapture strategy. Wonderful, great episode, man. Answered a lot of questions, and I still got more questions and ain't got no answers. And that's why I love doing what I do. Like I said on the build joint, I got work in the cut. I'm pushing it. I'm behind on some things. I'm going to do what I can to get caught up this week. So just to be expecting random stuff to pop up as I take care of all this business I got to take care of. So we're going to go ahead and get up out of here. Okay, the one and the only Professor L. You know what I'm saying? Live in the LAB. I'd like to thank you guys for joining me for another installment of Triple the Guy Speaks On. Make sure class is dismissed. Get up out of here. Put your lab coats in your cubby holes. Make sure you're nice and sterile. Don't touch anything you can't break. I'm trying to figure out, how do I end this? Oh, wait. I know how. With that being said, Super Say the Chain!